TJ Watt sends NFL into a frenzy with one Instagram post. What's really going on? The entire NFL world is spiraling right now, and it all started with one Instagram post, a simple peace sign. That's it. But somehow, this one gesture has set the football universe on fire. Fans, analysts, and insiders are all scrambling for answers. Is this a subtle goodbye? A calculated move in contract negotiations? Or is something far more significant happening behind the scenes in Pittsburgh? As someone who's followed the Pittsburgh Steelers closely for years, breaking down everything from game strategies to locker room dynamics, I can tell you this is not just some random social media moment. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. The cornerstone of the Steelers' defense, a generational talent. Let's start by talking about who TJ Watt is. He is, without question, the most dominant player on the Pittsburgh Steelers' defense. A once-in-a-generation talent, Watt has earned every accolade, from his Defensive Player of the Year award to being widely considered one of the top defensive players in the league. He's been the emotional heartbeat of the team for years, the guy who steps up when the chips are down, and the player who makes a difference every single game. Watt is more than just a player for Pittsburgh. He's a cornerstone. He's the face of the franchise's defensive identity and arguably the most valuable asset the Steelers have in their pursuit of championship glory. So when a player like him, someone so deeply entrenched in the fabric of the team, posts something as innocuous as a peace sign, it's hard not to pay attention. Why? Because a player of Watt's caliber doesn't just post cryptic messages on social media without reason, especially when he's in the midst of contract speculation. A peace emoji isn't just a peace emoji. Let's break down that peace emoji for a second. On the surface, it might seem like nothing, a casual neutral gesture, right? But when it's coming from a superstar in the middle of contract talks, it takes on a whole new meaning. This could be a signal. It could be a way for Watt to let the world know that he's weighing his options. Or maybe it's his subtle way of saying that he's at peace with whatever the future holds. Whether that means staying in Pittsburgh or moving on to another chapter in his career. Here's the thing. Earlier this year, Watt expressed his desire to remain with the Steelers. But that was 3 months ago. In NFL time, that's an eternity. The landscape of the league shifts fast, especially when you throw in contract negotiations, salary caps, and the long-term vision of a team. Relationships between players and organizations can evolve quickly, and Watt's situation is no different. And when you have a player of Watt's caliber who's become the face of your franchise, showing even the slightest hint of dissatisfaction or uncertainty, anything is possible. No trade rumors are too wild. Just ask the Las Vegas Raiders, who found out the hard way with Geno Smith and his own messy situation. The trade rumors heat up. Could Watt be on the move? Now, this isn't just Twitter speculation or idle chatter. The story gained even more steam this week, with NFL analyst Damian Woody weighing in on First Take. Woody absolutely shot down the idea of Watt being traded to the San Francisco 49ers. He called it disrespectful, not just to Watt, but also to Brock Purdy and the Niners organization as a whole. Woody's argument was straightforward. San Francisco has been making cuts and restructuring their roster specifically to save cap space for Brock Purdy's upcoming contract extension. The 49ers are focused on their future with Purdy, and bringing in someone like Watt would completely disrupt that delicate financial balancing act. It just wouldn't make sense. However, here's where things get truly intriguing. Paul Zeiss drops a bombshell. Trade T.J. Watt while his value is high. This week, veteran columnist Paul Zeiss from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette threw a grenade into the conversation. In his latest mailbag, Zeiss wrote something that caught everyone off guard. The Steelers should seriously consider trading T.J. Watt while his value is high. And this wasn't just a casual suggestion or a comment about a potential future scenario. No, Zeiss was making a strong case for the now, the present. He was talking about the immediate future of the franchise. Why would Zeiss suggest such a bold move? According to him, the Steelers need to think about the bigger picture. Yes, Watt is an all-time great, and yes, his talent is undeniable. But time is catching up to him, and his age and injury history could mean his peak years are behind him. Additionally, while Watt has been an absolute force in the regular season, his playoff performances have been inconsistent, and with a massive contract extension looming, one that could easily break the bank, the Steelers are left with a tough decision. Do they lock him in for the long haul and risk his decline, or do they pull the trigger now while his value is sky high and rebuild with a fresh approach? Zeiss put it bluntly. He's an all-time great, but his best days are probably behind him. So why not trade him while his value is still at its peak? That's a gut punch to any Steelers fan, but it's also the kind of cold, calculating logic that's often behind moves that shape NFL dynasties. The crucial crossroads. What's next for Pittsburgh? So let's step back for a second and take a broader view. The Steelers are at a crossroads. They haven't been a true Super Bowl contender in years. Sure, they've had playoff appearances, but they haven't been able to make a serious run at the big game. The team is in a rebuild phase, and tough decisions need to be made about the future direction of the franchise. If Pittsburgh decides to trade Watt, they could potentially land a treasure trove of draft picks and set themselves up for the future. By moving on from Watt, they could clear the way for the next generation of talent, rebuilding with youth, speed, and a fresh identity. A trade could give the Steelers the flexibility they need to get back into Super Bowl contention in the long run. But of course, there's the other side of the argument, the emotional attachment. Watt is more than just a player to Steelers fans. He's a legend, a face of the franchise. Keeping him would provide stability, leadership, and the chance to contend in the short term, assuming the Steelers can put the right pieces around him. The big decision: lock him in or let him go. This is the moment that could define the franchise's future. Whether the Steelers decide to lock in Watt for the long term or trade him. While his value is at its peak, the stakes are incredibly high. With the team not being a true Super Bowl contender for years, this is a time for bold, calculated decisions that will shape the next era of Pittsburgh Steelers football. The NFL world is watching closely. What do you think? Should the Steelers keep Watt around for the long haul and hope for another Super Bowl run? Or is it time to make a tough call and trade him for a chance to rebuild with the next generation?